Cool. All right.
That's it.
Yeah, everyone can see that. Maybe we'll just give everyone a moment if they want to add anything. Actually, I'll drop the link in the chat as well, so people can add stuff as we
Hmm.
go if they want to as well. But yeah, right now there's only just two agenda items on there. Reviewing action items, update on project infrastructure migration. Um, which I just copied this from last time, Derek. So
Hmm.
that might even more just be about like CFF cost stuff and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's more costing at this point, right? In terms of
Yep.
but we'll leave it as is.
Yep. Sounds good. Good. I'll just have a short update about
It's always when people are watching that the typing gets harder every time. Every time.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And then folks, feel free to add stuff as we move along or whatever. There's kind of a grab bag bucket at the end.
Yeah.
Um, so in terms of reviewing action items, I'll just say it out loud. The action items were all on my side, I think, from last time. We do have AWS accounts. Got to figure out which one to actually land this in. It's kind of like a low priority or like um, problem area, but I actually also raised an issue recently in the S3 resource, so it's top of mind. So I'll probably focus on that a little bit in the next couple weeks. Um, so we'll keep that moving there. Taylor does have access to the GCP accounts, so more than one person in this group can manage infrastructure problems if we have them, because the account is in CFF's payer account. I have not finished the RFC, aka I haven't been working on it because the CFF or the time I've been spending on Concourse has been more to do with some of the costing stuff that we've been getting into rather than how we consolidate on the concourses within the CFF in the immediate term.
And
Yeah, which
Derek, that that concourse instance actually for CFF is going to be used specifically around concourse and all the CFF needs, right? I mean, stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
build
Yeah.
packs, Cloud Foundry itself, etc.
Probably not build packs. Build packs is running mostly on GitHub Actions or other things. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. I'm not going to get specific about which working groups are moving on or
Yeah.
moving into because they have to. The way the RFC is going to be structured is going to be teams can or may come in. They'll be encouraged to, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
there'll be some space for folks that have to, for whatever reason, want to stay on whatever infrastructure they're on. But yes, it will be for serving anyone that currently has a concourse or needs a concourse inside of CFF.
Yeah. Something
Um,
something like a central concourse instance for CFF.
Yep. That's it.
correct. Yep. That is a much simpler way to put it, which is good. Simple is good. So yeah, there is some costing work that Taylor and I have been doing, getting rid of a lot of the low hanging fruit that kind of existed in the project. I think we got the majority of the low hanging fruit. The rest is going to come from, I think, replatforming the CI, like the concourse instance itself, and being able to size it the way that we're expecting to for concourse itself, and then we'll have to scale that relative to the teams and groups that we bring on. So there'll be some interesting things to do there, but I think we did a good portion of the work there. I think the only remaining low hanging fruit we have is probably in the storage content of like really old assets or blobs that we could consider getting rid of. We don't spend a lot in that category, so we didn't spend too much time looking at that yet. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
something everyone in the CFF is being asked to do that has infrastructure to bring down
Yeah.
costs.
Our
Mm-hmm.
biggest spend category right now is compute engine in GCP. So that just means we're just running a
Mm-hmm.
lot of VMs. That's it. that was like, I don't know, 80-70% of the cost right there. So that's where we're
Oh
gonna
dear.
spend the
And do
majority.
they have something like a reserved instance there? Maybe because the prices for reserved instances are a lot cheaper.
They are. That's something that's more broadly being worked on. There's some interesting
Mm,
things in the way that the payer structure is within the CFF that it's not easy, especially like across projects. It's hard to like do purchasing of
mhm,
reserved instances and kind of map that out. So Chris Clark and the TOC and folks are kind of like working a bit on that, trying to see how the GCP project structure and pair structure within the Linux Foundation can um,
mhm.
be done so
Got it.
that we can make those kind of committed use, make use of committed use discounts. Um, yeah, and go for there. But you're right. Yes, that would be preferable to paying list price, which is what everyone's doing right now. Undesirable, to be sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it for the costing stuff. Um, yeah, the only other thing is Concourse on ARM. It's going really well. Also, just wanted to raise it because I haven't been reviewing PRs or much of anything right now because I've been kind of like very heads down, just trying to wrangle the pipelines, get them all in order. I'm at the tail end of that. We're actually the pipelines are producing a Concourse dev image in both AMD and ARM versions, which is nice, which will help me as well if actually reviewing PRs. Because right now, when I review PRs, depending on how extensive some of the stuff is, I usually like to, spin up a Concourse and, play around with it locally. But locally has usually meant I have to like boot up a separate machine instead of doing everything directly on my Mac. So that'll save me a bit of time and just make anyone who's developing on Mac just at least like much, much easier now. Um, but yeah, so that's like kind of at the end there. Uh, Debating doing another like version 7 release, but I'm not sure if it'll be like a 7.14 or if I just do another 7.13 patch just to get a first like, hey, here's ARM, all the resource types are ARM and everything like that. Um, so yeah, I might push that out. Right now, kind of lean towards doing a 7.14 release just because some of the resource types either had changes or enhancements, and might take the opportunity to cherry pick some stuff that's on master over into a 7.14 release branch. So currently thinking about that. And yeah, I'll open up an issue about that if decide to go ahead with it. But yeah, so that's the Concourse on ARM stuff, and that's also why I haven't reviewed any PR. So that's why like the invalid identifier. I've been thinking about that. I'm gonna come back
Yeah.
to it soon, I promise. And all the other PRs that are open right now too. There's been a couple people that have been waiting a bit over a week
Mhm.
now for another round of reviews, and those should be coming soon now once I'm fully out of the Concourse ARM stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe if you're thinking about another release,
Hmm.
this fix for the vote case which we had, I think Ivan or Colin who introduced the
Yes,
change. That's probably one which can also get there because it's a small change, but it's fixing an issue with vote, which I guess many
totally.
people are probably going to have.
Yep, totally. That'd be a perfect fit, and actually, yeah, that just makes a good case for doing a minor release of 7.14. All
Yeah.
right, yeah. So yeah, we'll probably do a 7.14 release then. That'll be the first ARM release and whatever other little things we can fit in there. Because I know on the master branch right now there is, I forget which one, there is, oh, I guess I think it's the FIPS migration. I believe that got merged
Yeah.
in, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So that's on there already. So we can't do like a regular release stuff from
Mm,
master, but that's fine. It's just a little like
yeah.
Git cherry picking and stuff like that to make a proper release branch. So that won't be too hard. Okay, cool. But yeah, that's it as far as ARM stuff goes. Potential 7.14 release, and I'll say a couple weeks, vague like that, so I give myself time.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else folks want to bring up?
I'm mostly interested to see the RFC when it comes for the central concourse CFF instance. Just curious how it's gonna look. And yeah, if you guys need any assistance there, we're always available because yeah, we have some knowledge here and there around. saving money depending on Concourse, let's say, because in a couple of years back we had to save a lot of money in that area. So we somehow introduced a auto-scaling mechanism for Bosch deployments even, but yeah, that's a in-house workaround, let's say. So it's not very applicable to introduce in the community, but nevertheless it works.
Interesting. Is it essentially just another orchestrator built on like Bosch
Yeah,
that pays attention to some set of metrics coming out of, is it out of the VMs
specifically
or is it out of Concourse itself to
because
understand usage? Like,
no, because we know the use case of Concourse instances overall, how it's used across our landscape. So
got
we
it.
know which pipeline takes up most of the resources. So
Okay.
based on that,
Okay.
we know how to scale up or down.
That makes sense. I was like, is there something clever you were doing that actually like got at the raw resource usage and consumption? Because
Yeah.
that would be hot. But that does make more sense practically on how you accomplish that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
starting to play around with Concourse on Kubernetes, so we'll see how that thing is handled there. So we'll see. Maybe we'll work more on that when we have some more data. But yeah, I'm very fresh on this topic because we're just starting.
cool.
Cool.
All right then. If that's it, we'll end the meeting here. Thank you, everybody. Nice and short.
Thanks. Yeah. See you next time. Bye.
Yep.
Thank
Next
you.
month.